Hello and welcome back to WD18, the Watford fan channel, and welcome back to another episode of the Speaking Up series, a series where I'll be talking to different guests, talking about different societal issues, which I think affects mental health and could really benefit our viewers from listening to stories. Today's a bit of a different episode though, because I'm going to be talking myself here just about an issue that I've been quite passionate about, particularly this season, going back into grounds, and that's making a distinction between players as players and players as people, distinction between the professional and the personal. And I have the belief that they should not overlap at all. If a player makes a mistake on the pitch, it shouldn't be, lead to abuse about their personal lives, etc., and the other way around as well. What sort of triggered me to make this video, it wasn't planned at all, was seeing the reaction to William Troost-Ekong's mistakes the other night. Against Brentford, where he conceded the penalty in the last minute, which ultimately went on to Brian Mbeumo scoring the winner for Brentford. At the same time, looking on social media, I saw people calling out Troost-Ekong's Nigerian heritage. I saw people who got asked William Troost-Ekong for a signed shirt last Christmas, ripping up Troost-Ekong's shirt that he went out his way to sort out for them, and generally just some real personal attacks on Troost-Ekong. Now, this isn't the only Watford player. In the past, I've probably been guilty of it as well. Yeah, I think everyone's got an opportunity to learn and change as well. And I think something that I've, particularly with the interviews we did on the channel last year, notably the one with Troy Deeney and Tom Cleverley, is that players and people, you should almost look at them as separate things. The person on the pitch is different to the one off the pitch, because players don't go out there deliberately looking to make mistakes. Troost-Ekong didn't wake up on Friday morning and go, I'm going to concede a penalty tonight against Brentford. And I've got no doubt he's got professional integrity as well. Yet, some of the abuse has been absolutely disgraceful, and it's not what we expect from Watford Football Club, as well as a fan base. The original family club is what we call ourselves. And we need to be looking after our own players and backing them. Obviously, you can criticise players for their performances on the pitch. That's one of the things we do on the channel. Jacob and I sit here, and if a player hasn't been good, we'll say they weren't good enough. We said the other night Troost-Ekong wasn't good enough, but at no point should anyone be going across that line and saying, leaking this into William Troost-Ekong's personal life. And I think that sort of everyone has to be more conscious, particularly on social media, when they say things about players. As Troy said to us, players do see these things. They do look. And whether it affects them rightly or wrongly, it ultimately does. And it's in a sort of an age where we're looking to raise more awareness about mental health. We need to be recognising that players are people as well. They're just like us. They're fulfilling the dream of being footballers, and they're ultimately privileged to do that. Yeah, at no point does that mean that you can make attacks on them personal. There's been so many of them over the years, but I think at this point, seeing how unfair the abuse has been to Troost-Ekong, it was the ripped shirt for me that really got to me. It's just disgraceful, I think. And Troost will be hurting. I reckon he's in a low place. I think as a fan base, we need to ultimately get behind him. As I said, at no point am I excusing his performances, because he's not been good enough this season. He's probably not good enough for this level as well. But that's not to say Troost-Ekong isn't a top individual. He does a lot for the community. He absolutely loves the football club. And, as a minimum, I think that's what we can expect from a lot of players off the pitch. And this isn't just applying to Troost-Ekong. There are so many players out there who we really need to be more cautious of, I think, as a fan base, on social media, on all platforms, in the ground, that sort of thing. So just remember that the player and the personal should not sort of overlap at all. One should not, have an impact on the other, and we shouldn't, as fans, be able to comment about someone's personal life based on their performances on the pitch. But thank you very much for watching today. Hopefully we'll be back on a more cheerful note for another episode of Speaking Up very soon, and we'll be back for more match reactions in the future as well. Cheers.